Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually felt connected to yourself? Without distractions, without pretending to be who others expect you to be. Most people go their whole lives chasing external meaning. But what if your higher self has been trying to reach you all along and you just never stopped long enough to listen? What if everything you've been experiencing lately, all the confusion, the restlessness, the feeling like nothing quite fits anymore, isn't actually a problem at all? What if it's preparation? There's something happening to you right now that you might not fully understand yet. You're standing at the edge of one of the most profound encounters you'll ever have. Not with another person, not with some distant guru or teacher, but with the truest version of yourself that's been waiting patiently beneath all the noise. Think back to the past few months. Have you noticed how certain things that used to excite you just don't anymore? Maybe that job you once loved feels hollow now. Maybe those friendships that used to energize you leave you feeling drained. Maybe even your own reflection looks different somehow, like you're staring at someone who's becoming a stranger to themselves. Here's what most people don't realize. This isn't falling apart. This is falling together. What you're experiencing is the breakdown that comes right before the breakthrough. Your soul is clearing out everything that no longer matches who you're becoming. It's like cleaning a house before an important guest arrives, except that guest is the person you were always meant to be. The universe has this way of removing what doesn't serve you, often without asking your permission first. That relationship that ended seemingly out of nowhere, that opportunity that slipped through your fingers, that friend who suddenly stopped calling. These aren't punishments, they're clearings, space being made for something far more aligned with your authentic path. You might have been feeling lost lately, like you don't recognize your own life anymore. But what if I told you that feeling lost is actually the first sign that you're being found? What if that confusion is just your old identity dissolving to make room for your true one? Right now, you're probably noticing that people and situations seem to be pushing buttons more than your usual. Everything feels like it's triggering something deep inside you. But here's the thing about triggers, they're not random attacks from the world. They're mirrors. Every person who frustrates you, every situation that challenges you, every moment that makes you uncomfortable is showing you something about yourself that's ready to be healed. This is what I call the mirror phase. Life becomes a reflection of your inner world, showing you exactly what needs attention. The angry person who cuts you off in traffic mirrors the impatience you haven't acknowledged in yourself. The friend who keeps cancelling plans reflects the ways you abandon your own commitments. The boss who micromanages you shows you how you don't trust your own decisions. These reflections aren't meant to punish you, they're meant to guide you. Each trigger is your higher self's way of saying, look here, this is what we need to work on together. This is what's keeping us apart. And then there's the strangest part of all. You start feeling like you're losing yourself. Your sense of identity becomes fuzzy. The person you thought you were begins to feel like a costume that no longer fits. This terrifies most people because we've been taught that losing ourselves is the worst thing that can happen. But what's really happening is that your ego, that false self you've been carrying around, is finally dying. And it needs to die for you to live. You've been wearing masks for so long that you've forgotten what your real face looks like. The dissolution you're feeling isn't destruction, it's revelation. You're not losing yourself. You're meeting the version of you that was always waiting beneath the noise. This is where most people turn back. The ego fights hardest, right before it surrenders. It creates chaos, drama, anything to pull you back into the familiar patterns. It whispers that you're making a mistake, that you should go back to the way things were, that this inner journey is just self-indulgent nonsense. But you can't meet your higher self if you're still trying to force life to follow your old rules. The control you've been gripping so tightly has to soften. The plans you've been clutching have to open. The version of yourself you've been protecting has to step aside. This is where the real work begins. Because meeting your higher self isn't just about inner peace and enlightenment. It's about learning to live from a completely different frequency. It's about making choices not from fear or habit, but from a place of deep knowing that feels almost foreign at first. Your higher self doesn't speak the language of doubt. It doesn't negotiate with your insecurities or get caught up in the drama that used to consume your thoughts. When you start connecting with this part of yourself, you'll notice that certain conversations feel empty. Certain people seem to be speaking a different language entirely. Not because they've changed, but because you're hearing from a different place now. The strangest thing starts happening with decisions. Instead of overthinking every choice, weighing pros and cons, until your mind is spinning, you begin to feel answers. Not think them. Feel them. Your body knows before your brain catches up. Your gut louse speaks to than your fears. This is what people mean when they talk about trusting your intuition, but until you experience it, it sounds like mystical nonsense. Here's what nobody tells you about this process. The people closest to you might not understand what's happening. They see you pulling from things that used to matter to you. They watch back you saying no to invitations you would have said yes to before. They notice you spending more time alone, more time in silence, and they start to worry that you're becoming antisocial or depressed. But what's really happening is that you're learning to distinguish between what feeds your soul and what drains it. You're developing boundaries not from a place of anger or resentment, but from genuine self-respect. You start protecting your energy the way you'd protect something precious, because you finally understand that it is precious. The world around you begins to shift in response. Opportunities that align with your authentic path start appearing. People who vibrate at your new frequency show up seemingly out of nowhere. Situations that once would have stressed you out either resolve themselves or simply fall away. It's as if life itself is conspiring to support this new version of you. But here's the part that challenges most people. Your higher self doesn't live in the future or the past. It exists only in the present moment. And if you're like most people, you've spent years either reliving yesterday or planning tomorrow. The present moment feels uncomfortable because transformation, it's where actually happens. This is where the real work begins. Because meeting your higher self isn't just about inner peace and enlightenment. It's about learning to live from a completely different frequency. It's about making choices not from fear or habit, but from a place of deep knowing that feels almost foreign at first. But here's the part that challenges most people. Your higher self doesn't live in the future or the past. It exists only in the present moment. And if you're like most people, you've spent years either reliving yesterday or planning tomorrow. The present moment feels uncomfortable because it's where transformation actually happens. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, before you sleep, sit in complete silence for just 5 minutes. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you and the quiet. Listen not with your ears, but with something deeper. Your higher self has been whispering to you all along. You just forgot how to hear it. If this message found you today, it wasn't random. Your reunion with yourself is closer than you think.